Hello guys, good morning to everyone. Welcome back to my new video. So in this video, um, I wanted to discuss you something more important. So when you are going to give TCS exam, so in your advanced coding part, many of the students are saying that the logic is very simple. We can solve the code easily, but the problem what is happening is they cannot take the user input correctly, or they're confusing how to pass the input what is given from the TCS server and get the output as required. The questions are very easy, dead easy, but the problem what is happening is we cannot correctly take the input from the user and then pass it and then apply the logic to it in order to get the correct output. So in this video I'm going to cover all the mistakes what we are doing in the exam and how to overcome that and what is the good method of solving the problem. Let's start the video. This video I'm going to cover what are the mistakes we were doing in the exam and to avoid those mistakes in the coding exam. So most of them were assuming that the input what they're giving is as described in the question and it will become as defined in the data type. So we are assuming that if is going to give the length of an array, he is going to give integer to us. So but this is not the case. What mostly doing it, we are not importing the required click. We have to user input. So we are using this scanner object with the system.in method, but we are forgetting to import the required class. What is that required class? So java.util.scanner is the class which is required in order to use this scanner class to take the user input. In many IDE, we can use this class scanner class without importing it. In the modern US, we can use this, but it is not the case in. So we must import it manually. So as code we have to write import java.util.scanner. So sometimes students may have written java.util.star also. We're assuming that all things will be imported correctly, but it is also not the case. So many times the correct scanner class was not imported. So please make sure that you are importing the java.util.scanner class first. Always find don't the auto import. So in many coding exams, not only TCS, they don't give you all the imports directly what you wanted. So you have to import the packages what you want, then you have to write the code. So the packages will be available, but you need to import it quickly. The next biggest mistake what we are doing is taking the input for here wrongly. Meaning that the input is in the required format. That is, so if they are going to give assuming the length of big as input sc.nextInt. So as you use this nextInt method, you will get called the you using the nextInt. So the error message will also be not clear to you guys. Like they are not giving you the direct error. So you have to observe the error carefully, understand what is happening in the behind the scene, and then you have to convert it. So the reality is the input format what we are assuming is the wrong. So the TCS is giving us a single line, not giving any input here. They are giving only a single line string. So all the numbers are inside that string format. Example, if giving like 2, 1, 2, value comma represent the maybe the, observe that there is a comma, then it acts as next line. So it is the next in. So here the one and what they are doing with created, it may be an array of int. We have to observe based on the question. So if in the question, if they said we are going to give you an array input and length of the array, then the values for the array. So then we have to look it into the input format what they are giving. So they will separate the input from using commas, and for array values the input will be separated using spaces. So we need to observe this. So before going to write the code, so next time load next directory. So called ac.nextLine. Always thinking we need to that letter where that we can use in our logic. Third mistake what we are doing is we are in the unit and but we are not okay. So if you know the string methods, if you know how to like utilize the string input what you are getting in order to find the logic, it is fine. So but many of the time it is not the case. First we have to parse the string input into proper format what we need. For example, we may need some integer array, like in order to get the integer value and check for some condition. If satisfies, we have to do some arithmetic operation. So for this we have to convert the string input into an integer array form, then only we can do arithmetic operations. So if not, it will be very difficult to us. So common mistakes what we are doing is taking the not converting properly. Discuss array length may be given. We are thinking that we can use the array, but it's to convert it data, not like that. It's coming and I can use it directly. First, you have to structure data so that we can use it easily over the program. So the correct approach will be after a string input. So first you create a string called input, then you will take the one line input from the server using ac.nextLine. So what the next step you have to do, as I said, whenever there is a comma, it indicates that it is next input coming. So first, if at all, like for example, you can use the ac.nextLine. So you will get the 5 string, and if you use Integer.parseInt, you can convert this into an integer and store it in an integer called integer length. So it is cleared. So what about this array values? So for this array values, first you store the one line array in a variable called input, then use this split method given in an array value. The 50, 105, 60 are converted to a single strings, like 55 is stored in an index and 105 and 65 and 80. I will get in my code. Yes, you can use if you know correct string method. So if you don't know how to use the string values in order to do arithmetics, just convert it to an so how to convert? So to convert an string to integer, we use string we have into the parseInt method. So this parseInt method converts one string value to the corresponding integer value and stores still in the what we are going to we have to do for an array of inputs. So for loop will start from the 0th index, go up to nth index, and in each index we access the value stored in string array and then convert it into integer using integer.parseInt. That value will be stored to the integer array. So that I will show it once we go to coding, how to take that string array and convert that to integer array. It is not a big deal. So the next mistake what we are doing is not verifying the input before applying the logic. No, yes, the input will be given as a one line string. So the comma separator tells us the input is giving from the next line. So then we'll take the string input, we'll parse it into string array, then we'll convert into integer array, then we'll think, yes, the input is now ready, I can directly apply the logic. So that is also a mistake. So you cannot directly without and you are confident that that parsing is correct, but you need to observe that whether the parsing you have done is correctly applied or not. Are you getting the correct integer input or not? So how can you do that? So in order to do that, you have to verify that the input what you get what well, that is happening small mistake wrong out. You have input correctly, but there is a logical mistake in the program. That is why you are not getting the test case passed. But a small parsing mistake that what you have might done is maybe like fine giving you trouble in order to get the correct output. Right? The input is most of the cases. Most of the students are like got to know that we have to pass this string input into integer array integer value and then we have to apply the logic, but when they passed the string input they made some mistake, or like whenever when they using the split method they might have used comma separator, something like that. So that mistake made them many test cases. So what we have to do, so we always use what we have. So if you pass the array and if you confident that my string array is correctly converted to integer array, try to print that integer array once. Check whether the given input value is coming as the output for your integer array, whether all the values are matching. So in order to print it will you know so you have to correctly observe that the value you have passed is correct or not. So if you have the correct value, and if you try to write the logic, that will give you an error if there is a small mistake also. Always your all values are correct, what is expected, and also correct. Like that, if the array is given as 15, 60, 70, you change the order to 60, 70, 55. It is not like the case. In many questions, the order of the array is also important. So make also correct. After then only you logic time. So for the easy question, there will be 35 minutes. Try to give some 10 minutes in order to get the user input correctly. You can write the logic in 20 minutes. It is not a big deal. So when it comes to the hard question also, it will be 55 minutes time. Try to give some 10 to 15 minutes time in order to get the user input correctly. So the rest of the time you can think for the logic and write the code easily. Hello, we need to think will the input what we are going to read. Then we have that input read take case. Verify that we have got the correct input, and also very important that right we'll get the classes or the library package as expected. So it is not the case. Try to import whatever the classes you use, even it is built in, try to import it. It will be a good approach. So that is an important questions in ERE. So the trick will be in the passing of the input. So many students think like in the TCS level, why they are asking such easy questions like finding the parking fee, gym fee collection or offer collection. So like that they're asking very basic array questions. So but that also many students cannot solve. Why? Because they're not aware of how to parse this input given from the TCS. So that is the thing. So nobody will tell you, will give you a string input, you have to pass it, then you have to do. So nobody will tell you these things in coding exams. So they will just give you a question and you have to observe whether the input is coming as string or the input is coming as an expected integer value or whatever the value they have mentioned in the description, and then you have to start writing the logic. So yeah, let's check once in coding how to get the user input. If it is a string, how to parse it into the required value, and then we'll correctly understand what is happening.